Assalamu alaikum students. The topic that we'll study today is the ArrayList class. ArrayList is a built-in class of Java and we use it for storage purposes. It belongs to the collection library and it is used for containing a list of objects. So ArrayList is a class in the Java standard library. Unlike arrays that are of fixed length, the ArrayList length can be modified at runtime. This is the major difference between an array and an ArrayList, and this is actually the reason that people use ArrayList instead of simple arrays. The arrays are, whenever we create arrays, they are of fixed size. We cannot change the size of the array at runtime. But with ArrayList, there is a flexibility that the ArrayList size can be changed at runtime. So how the ArrayList class is implemented? It is implemented by using an array as a private instance variable, but the advantage of using it is that the updations in this private instance array is automatic. We simply need to call the functions once an ArrayList is created to increase the length, to remove something from the array, and all the functionality that is to be implemented in order to iterate through the array, it is automatically done at the backend. Okay, so if ArrayList is this much advantageous, then why don't we use ArrayList only, and why do we learn the usage of simple arrays? As you are studying a lecture of ArrayList, so you must know that why we only don't use ArrayList, why do we still use the simple arrays? The ArrayList is less efficient than an array, right? Because it performs a lot of functionality in the background. So with the using a simple array, it is the use of simple array is more efficient, right? By efficient, I mean in terms of the memory consumption and the processing usage. And the ArrayList does not have the convenient square bracket notation. We all are very much familiar with the square bracket notation that is available with the arrays, but ArrayList does not have the square bracket notation. We do not define ArrayList using the square brackets, and we do not refer to the indexes of the ArrayList using the square brackets. We use function in order to access an ArrayList, right? So the convenient square bracket notation, it is not available with ArrayList. Another limitation of ArrayList is that I told you in the start as well that ArrayList is a container, or it maintains a collection of objects. That it means that ArrayList can only contain objects, right? So it cannot be used for primitive types. This is the major limitation of ArrayList. However, this limitation has been catered by the recent versions of Java by using the wrapper classes, but this is a limitation, and whenever we store integer, it is not stored as a primitive value, it is stored as an object. So ArrayList can be used only when you want to store objects. Okay. So how to use an ArrayList? We need to import the utility.ArrayList class, right? And in order to create an ArrayList, this is the syntax: ArrayList base type. Base type means that here you define the type of the ArrayList that you want to create. For example, you want to create a list of string. You can write string here. Let's say you want to create a list of students. You can write student here, right? Any object you can write here, right? This is the name for the list, and new ArrayList is the syntax for generating the new object. And again here we write the type for which we are creating the array. I think we should write these commands on the compiler as well in order to make you understand how they work. So when I define ArrayList, I write it like this. I will write the type, then I will give it a name, and this is the constructor call. We all know that in order to create object, we need to call the constructor, right? So this is the constructor call. We can create an ArrayList using the default constructor. Here I am not giving any value for the size of the array, but if you want to create an ArrayList of a certain size, you can give the size here as well. So these are the overloaded constructors that are available for the ArrayList. Alright. Okay, this is the same example that I have just showed you on NetBeans, that in order to create a list of arrays, a list of strings, sorry, you can write this kind of sentence. Remember, string is an is a class in Java. So the string is not a primitive type in Java. That is why I can write string here. I cannot write int double char here, right? String is not a primitive type in Java. It's a class in Java. That is why the compiler is allowing me to write string here, right? Okay. Now let's see how to add something to the array. Again, I told you that the square bracket notation is not available here, so we can use the add function in order to add something to the array, right? So here we can see the syntax: list dot add any string I can add if the array list is of the string type, and the add method can be used, and the add method is also overloaded. We'll see a few versions of the overloaded add method. Let's add something to the array that we have just created. List dot add. Let's say this list contains your courses, right? So list dot add right. So if you can see the add function, simply it's very easy to add something to the array. Previously we needed to iterate till the last index. We used to find, okay, which is the freely available index, and then we used to insert in that index only, right? So if you have an array list, you don't need to worry about the iterations or finding the suitable index on which the next item is to be inserted. You can simply call the add function, it will insert on its own. Let's see if I had an array of 2, even though it will work. Okay, this is the main advantage of array list. Let's say I created a list of size 2, and then I'm storing 4 variables here. It will work perfectly fine because it will store the first 2 in the already created array, and then for third and fourth index it will increase the size of the list class, right? So there is no error. It will simply insert these 4 items in the array list. Alright. Okay. In order to check, let's say you have been adding and removing content from the array list, and you now want to see what is the current size of your array list. So a very important function for checking the size of the list, it is the size function. It's a very simple function. You just need to call list.size, whatever is the name of your array list, and you can call the size function on it, and it will tell you what is the current size of your array list. Okay, so the add function in your array list has some overloaded features as well. If you call the add function simply by writing list.add, it will add at the first available index, the free index that is available. And if you want to insert at a specific index, then you can use the overloading method that takes the index as argument as well. Okay, let's see how it will work. If you want to insert, let's say you want to insert this at index number 1. Right, so you can simply say, okay, add at index 1, this is the data to be added, and what the backend functionality will do, it will insert physics at 1 and will push others in the forward position, right? So the list will be automatically adjusted. You don't need to do all the hassle of writing the code or pushing every inserted element to the free spaces and then inserting the new element at the desired position. You just need to write, okay, add at this index, it will automatically add at this index, and it will push the rest of the elements to the right. Another important function is the set function. Set function, as you already know, it is used for resetting the value. As the name indicates, if you want to reset the value of an element at a certain index, you can use the set function. ये वही function है जो अपनी class में भी use करते हैं. Set function को हम we always name a function set if it is used for resetting a value, right? So ये वो इसी तरह यहाँ पर भी उसका नाम set है, that you can use a set function if you want to reset an index, right? Let's see how it will work. For example, this is the set function, right? List.set. If I want to reset the value at 0, and I don't want the value at 0 to be loop, it should be database. So I have written list.set database. Because I want to write a print function as well here, so that we can see if the change has been made. Okay, so this is the for loop that I have written. So I have simply iterated a loop from 0 till list.size. I just showed you the size, but it's a very useful function, simply, especially if you want to iterate the list, right? And inside the loop, I can print list. Now remember that we cannot use this operator here, right? If you want to print, or if you want to see, and if you want to access some index of the list, you have to use the get function. This is a very useful function. You must know how to use it, and you'll be using it a lot. The get function. as the name indicates, the get will return the value, right? So list dot get, and inside the get function we need to pass the index of which the value is desired, right? So if you want to see the value at index number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, you will write, okay, list dot get I, right? List dot get is again, I'm telling you, it's a useful function. It is used for accessing the value of the indexes of the list. We cannot use the square bracket here, so we will always use the get function. Let's see what is the output. So here we can see that the 0 index was initially oop and it has now been replaced with database. So we have just seen that there are many useful functions in the ArrayList class, and these functions can be used for adding, accessing and resetting the value of the ArrayList. Apart from these, there are also many other useful functions. The slides contains a list of methods that are present in the ArrayList class. I will explain them one by one. They are very easy. It starts with the constructor availability. I just showed you that you can have two kinds of constructors in the ArrayList. The default constructor that does not take any argument, and an argument constructor that takes the initial capacity as argument. Even if you are providing the initial capacity and you are inserting more elements, they will be get adjusted. Then we saw the set function, right? So the set function is inside the ArrayList class. It takes the index, the value that is to be reset, and the new value that is to be inserted. Then we just saw the get function. The get function is again a very useful function. It only takes the index and it returns the value that is present on this index. Okay, the return type obviously is the base type, the type of the ArrayList. The add function I have just shown you. The add function takes the value that is to be inserted. Add function has another overloaded version that takes the index at which you want to insert the value, and this is the value that is to be inserted. Remember, if you are using this kind of add function, it will insert at this index, and the rest of the elements, they will be moved forward. Okay, they are not overwritten, they are moved forward. Okay, the remove function. This is again a very useful function inside the ArrayList class, the remove function. It takes the index at that you want to remove, right? So if you remember, in order to remove something from the ArrayList from a simple array, it used to be a very difficult task. We used to iterate through the array to find where the value was, then we used to remove it, and the procedure for removal was that we used to push backward all the elements in the array in order to fill up that position. But if you're using ArrayList, it's a simple function call, right? Let's see how it will work. Okay, so let's see how the remove function will work. We'll simply write list.remove, and I'll provide the index that is to be removed. Let's say we want to remove the index number 0, right? So database was stored at index number 0, right? We just reset the 0th index, right? So let's see if it is removed. Here you can see that database has been removed, right? So it is very simple to remove or to delete something from the ArrayList now. Okay. We can also remove by writing the object itself. For example, if the ArrayList is of type string, you can give the name of the string in quotes and it will remove that. It will remove the variable that is present it will basically find that variable inside your list and it will remove it, right? The clear function is used if you want to remove everything from the array, and the ArrayList size will be set to 0. Okay, it's again a useful function if you want to clear your array, if you want to save memory, or for any case if you want to delete everything from the array, you can use the clear function. Okay, contains function. Okay, this is again a very useful function. If you remember, we used to write search functions from the array, right? And we used to iterate through the array in order to see if something is present on inside the array or not. This function is a useful function because we can simply give the name of the variable that is to be searched, and if it is present in the array, it will return true, otherwise it will return false. Similarly, these functions are also useful. Index of function returns the if an element is present inside your list, it will return the first index at which it is present, right? And it will return -1 if the target is not found. If an element has more than one occurrence and you want to see where it is occurring last, you can use the last index of function. It takes the object as the argument, and it determines where is this object occurring. If it is occurring at multiple position, it will return the last index, right? Again, it will return -1 if the target is not found. These again are very useful functions. You just need to write one command, it will search the values for you. These basically are the search functions in the that are present in the ArrayList class. Okay. Is empty function basically checks if the size of the array list is 0. You will find this function a lot of times in code that uses array lists. We basically first check if the array is empty. If it is empty, we don't perform any operation, and if it is not empty, then we continue with our operations, right? So this function is again a built-in function, and again a very useful function. Alright. Size I have just shown you. We used it in the for loop in order to see what is the current size of the array list. Ensure capacity is a function basically which ensures that array list is maintained to a certain size. You can use this function and you can give a new capacity here in order to increase the length of your array, right? Okay. Clone method, right? In order to copy array list, we can use the clone function. The clone function, you must remember that clone basically gives the shallow copy of the array list, right? It is basically an array list copy function, and the return type is object, but this will not give you an independent copy. Okay, it will copy your array list, but it will be a shallow copy. I hope everyone remember what was a shallow copy. Shallow copy means that it returns it copies the object, and a new array list is not generated. So both the return object of this function and the object on which it is called, they will point to the same location. So the address is basically returned. An independent copy is not generated. Okay, so the clone is a function available in the array list class, but if you are using it, you must remember that it is not creating an independent copy. It is simply creating a clone by returning the address, by copying the addresses only, right? Okay. This is a useful function inside the array list class, equals function, right? Equals function checks if two array lists are same, then if they are same, it will return true, otherwise it will return false. This is the useful function because it actually gets into the array, checks the size first if the array lists are of the same size, and then it checks the elements that are present in the array list as well. If the size and the elements in the array are same, and also if the elements are in the same order, only then it will return true, otherwise it will return false, right? So this is a useful function in the array list class because it basically iterates both array lists very properly, and it checks the size as well as the content of the array list to see if two array list objects are similar or not. Again, the return type is boolean. Okay. So these functions, the function that I have just shown you in the slides, they are very useful functions. Kindly go through these functions by practicing them on the NetBeans. They are very simple. The syntax is clearly written in the slides. The for each loop, right? I have just printed the array list using the for loop, the simple traditional for loop, but there is also another loop that is used with the collection classes of Java, and that loop is called the for each loop. It is very easy to write. That is why it is you will see this loop when you are reading literature related to array list, right? How to write this loop? It's very simple. Here is an example. For example, you have this array list. To-do list is the name of the array list, and inside this array list you have stored some elements. This is the loop that is storing elements to the array. You are simply calling the add function. You are asking the user to give you some string, and you are storing it in the array list, right? So this loop basically is dealing with the insertion of data in the array list. Once the data is inserted, now you can print this array by writing a simple loop like this, right? What it is saying, string entry, and this is the name of my list, right? So what it does is that it takes one element from the to-do list, stores it inside the entry, and then you can do any operation here, right? So I think we should write it on the array that we have just generated. Okay, so let's write this loop inside the code that I have just created. So we'll write string entry is the name of the, just we used to write I for iterating the traditional loop. We use a variable here. This variable will contain the value from the list. List is the name of my array list, right? Okay. So we can write, okay, the value will come in the variable entry. This you have to remember. Okay, the for loop will run by simply iterating the list. It will run on its own. There is no the syntax is hidden. Basically, the iterations for the for loop will start from index number 0. The list will be iterated one by one. It will take iteration up till the size. This all syntax is not written here, right? The only thing that we can see here is that whatever will be retrieved from the list, it will be stored in entry, right? So if I want to print it, I can write entry here, right? Let's execute it. You can see the list is printed, right? So for each loop is a very simple loop. You should know how to write a for each loop. We simply write the list, the name of the list on which you want to do some operation in an iterative manner, and then we have a placeholder, right? This is a variable that can contain the value from the list, and we can perform any operation on the variable that you have defined inside the for each loop, right? So this is the syntax of a for each loop. It is usually used with array list structures. This is the output. Okay, so now up till now I hope that you have understood the structure of the array list, that array list is a built-in class of Java. The advantage of using array list is that there are a lot of built-in functions, and the major advantage is that you can change its size on runtime, right? And we have seen that there are many functions that are available. We can use those functions very easily, and there is a special loop associated with the collection classes of Java, which is the for each loop, and you have just seen the syntax. Okay, in the next part of lecture I will be explaining how can we use array list to store primitive data members. That I just told you in the start that array list can be used for storing objects only, but what if I want to insert integer, double or char values in the array list? We'll see in the next part that we can use the wrapper classes for this purpose. Thank you.